Hey, it's Randy from Funeral Funds of America. In this video, I'm going to share with you the actual pricing for $20,000 worth of burial, cremation, final expense, life insurance, or funeral funds for a 64-year-old female. Now, first thing I encourage you to do is go directly to our website at funeralfunds.com. We've got these free quoters on just about every page, and all you need to do is just select the state that you live in. We're licensed in all 50 states, by the way. Select the coverage amount, put your birthday and the rest in the info in there. It will take you to a page that's going to show you the best insurance companies that have the lowest rates based off your age, gender, and the state that you are living in. We highly recommend you take advantage of that. You can also call us directly at 888-862-9456. One of our licensed agents can help you out as well. Now, one of the first things we recommend to a 64-year-old female looking at $20,000 worth of insurance is that $20,000 going to be enough to cover your final expenses? Now, typically, final expenses is going to involve either a cremation or a burial. Let's start with cremation. The average cost of a cremation in the United States right now is between $1,000 to $2,000. That's if you come home in a cardboard box or an urn. If you're going to have some sort of ceremony like a celebration of life or remembrance ceremony in addition to the cremation, it's probably going to be between $3,500 to $4,500, depending on what part of the country you're in. Now, as far as coverage amounts, for that first option where you're just going to be cremated and come home in a cardboard box or an urn, we would probably generally help people with around $5,000 to $7,000 worth of coverage. Now, you might be saying, well, Randy, hold on. You said that the cremation was going to be $2,000, and now you're recommending $5,000 worth of coverage. What's the deal? Well, the deal is our 64-year-old female probably wants to make it to age 74 and then maybe even age 84. And, we know that prices on things go up over time due to inflation. So what we do is we actually add some extra coverage in to cover that future cost of inflation. But we get our folks approved at their lowest rate today at their youngest age. And what that does is it not only protects them inflation-wise, so that when they do pass away, their loved ones won't have to come up with any more money, but also in the short term, if God forbid you died sooner than you thought, then there's extra money for the family members, maybe to take care of some other things that, if you'd lived long enough, you would have gotten those paid off, like medical bills or credit card bills, something like that. So by doing it that way, you long-term inflation-proof the plan, but short-term, you actually have some extra coverage for some other expenses. It works out really terrific. Now, for that cremation where you're going to have the get-together, some sort of service, we would typically help people with anywhere between $7,000 to $10,000. And again, that inflation-proofs the plan, but also provides some extra coverage in the short term. Now, for the average burial in the United States, the average cost is right around $10,000. If you pretty much walk into any funeral home in the United States with a $10,000 check, they should help you get it done. Just keep in mind, that's not going to be anything fancy. But, by the same token, if they told you no, they couldn't do it, you could always walk out the door and walk 2 blocks down the road to their competition. And there's going to be somebody that would help you for that. I have to believe that. But just understand that $10,000, if you do that, that is what the cost is kind of right now. It's not inflation proofed at all. So most 64-year-old females that we would help would be looking at anywhere between $10,000, $15,000, and maybe up to $20,000. And that just kind of depends on your budget. A lot of folks are on a fixed or limited income. And if money's tight, we would typically recommend you at least get the $10,000 because that will take care of the most immediate needs. And we can always help you add more coverage later. So just keep in mind there's a lot of flexibility. But if money isn't quite as much of an issue, we can certainly help you with $20,000 or even higher. But once in a while, somebody will say, hey, I want to not only take care of my final expenses, but leave some money behind for my kids. And they might say, well, like what's 30, 40, or 50,000? And we give them a quote and they go, well, 50,000. That's more than we want to pay. So no, we're just not going to do anything. And what we have to do is just remind them that they originally came in because they didn't want the kids to have to pay for their final expenses. So what we recommend they do is actually treat it separately. Take care of your final expenses first. And then at some point in the future, if you want to add more coverage for the kids, we can do that in a separate policy. We got a lot of flexibility that way. That's if you're on a really tight budget. If money's not as much of a concern, we can certainly do it all at once. But just keep in mind, there's a lot of flexibility we have there to help you out with. Now, one thing we always recommend is getting first day coverage or benefits. And that's really important. We do not recommend those plans with 2-year waiting periods. We do not recommend them at all. And I'll talk about those in a minute. But first day coverage means that hypothetically, if your plan were issued and approved today and you died tomorrow, the insurance company would have to pay out that full $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, whatever your coverage amount was. That's going to be the best coverage at the lowest pricing. That's exactly what you want. Now, some people would say, well, you know, Randy, I do like that first day coverage, but I hear it has health questions, and I'm a little worried that I'm not in the best of health. I may not qualify. To which we say, hey, your health problems are our issue, not your issue, at least from an insurance standpoint. What we mean by that is we work with enough different insurance companies. They all have different underwriting and they all have different health questions. And right now, about 90 to 95% of the time, we're getting people approved for first day coverage or benefits. We are really terrific at what we do. Really, the only reason we wouldn't be able to get you first day coverage is if you waited too long and you had some significant health issues, like maybe you had a terminal illness or you had dementia or you're on dialysis or in a hospital or in a nursing home. If that were the case, we would typically refer you out to a different insurance company. What seems to happen on a weekly basis as well for us is somebody will call up and say, hey, we had a family member pass away this last week and they didn't have insurance and we don't have any money. So their body's down at the funeral home right now. And the funeral home director is not going to do anything till he gets a check in his hand. So we need to get this insurance really quick so we can get a check from the insurance company so that we can pay off the funeral home director. And we have to let them know that there's no insurance company in the United States that's going to offer a policy on somebody who's already dead. You actually have to be alive to qualify for this insurance. And it's really sad that they lost a family member, but it's really sad that the family member didn't care enough to get this insurance and protect their family, and now they're going to have to pay for it. Because chances are they're going to have to put it on credit cards and pay 26% interest, and they'll be paying on this for years and years and years and years. So, you know, it's really inexcusable. The person who died, they knew they were going to die someday. They probably thought about getting this insurance, but just put it off, and then one day they just went and died, and now their family members have to pay for this. So it's a terrible legacy to leave behind. So don't be that person. Just take care of this. If money's tight, we can always help you start smaller, add more coverage later. Yeah, just be a better person than that. Now, one thing we don't recommend is those plans with 2-year waiting periods. And Colonial Penn is one of those companies out there. And you probably didn't know that their $9.95 plan, you know, one you see advertised on TV all the time. Yeah, it's a $9.95. It's a 2-year waiting period plan. Now, you know, Colonial Penn's not the only 2-year waiting period plan out there. There's other companies too. Mutual of Omaha, United of Omaha, their line there, AIG, Gerber. Gosh, there's so many other different insurance companies. That's the only thing they offer is 2-year waiting periods. And some of these companies have done an amazing job of convincing the American public that if you're over age 50, the only thing you're going to qualify for is a plan with a 2-year waiting period, to which we always say, don't believe such nonsense, because we help people with first day coverage all day long. Yes, we do. Now, our female, age 64, she probably just got done watching one of those Colonial Penn TV commercials, and she's probably thinking, oh, baby, I'm going to get so much insurance because I'm only 64 and it's $9.95. And that TV commercial was so slickly produced, I'm going to get a lot. I'm probably going to get $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, maybe even $50,000 for only $9.95. And then our 64-year-old female, she gets on the Colonial Penn website or talks with an agent and finds out that for a female age 64, 1 unit of coverage, which is $9.95, is only going to pay out $1,313. Now, that is probably enough to cover a cremation in some parts of the country, but certainly not all parts of the country. My gosh. And then, you know, even those places where it would pay out, it's not going to anyway, because it's got a 2-year waiting period for any health or medical related cause of death. That's why we don't recommend 2-year waiting periods. So why would you ever get a plan that's just like on the edge? I mean, it won't even hardly pay for the cheapest cremation, much less cremation with a ceremony or a burial or anything else fancier than that. Now, there's some people that would say the companies that offer these plans like $9.95, they call those teaser rates. They're really intended to get you to call in, get your info, and then they can get you put in their marketing funnel, and then they get you on the phone, and they're happy to show you that low price and show you how minuscule the coverage is, because some would say that what they really want to do is to actually transition and upsell you to more coverage that is more profitable for them. Now, we would never say that Colonial Penn would do anything like that, but there are some people out there that are pretty convinced of that, and I guess you can make up your own mind based on the fact you're only going to get $1,313 for $9.95. And ultimately, we want $20,000, right? So I'm not sure we're going to be able to get $20,000 through Colonial Penn because they only go up to 15 units. Let's see if we can. Nope, you can't. You get close. Can't get it though. $19,695. But that's going to cost you $150 rounded, right? 150-ish. So let's do this. Let's go see what first day coverage would be. Here we go. So we got $20,000. We got female, age 64, get quote. We're going to come back. We're going to double check this real quick again. Roughly $20,000 for $150. And I want to show you this again. $20,000. That is going to be right around $74, $75. So let me ask you this. Would you rather pay like around $75 for level coverage, means first day coverage, level coverage? Would you rather pay right around $75 for first day coverage for $20,000? Or would you rather pay $150 for $19,695 and get socked with a 2-year waiting period? Which would you rather get? I mean, here's the deal. What we typically see, and it's played out quite accurately here, the Colonial Penn is typically around 200% more expensive than a first day coverage plan. So you should never accept a 2-year waiting period plan when you qualify for first day coverage. And there's definitely some companies we wouldn't recommend for 2-year coverage either. Colonial Penn is very expensive. So let's take a look over here. Let's look at some other insurance companies. But well, actually, let's do the math real quick. We didn't do that. Let me do the math here. So our first day coverage is right around $75, and this is right around $150. So Colonial Penn's right around $75 more a month. And with Colonial Penn, you will have to overpay that $75 a month every single month until the day you die. But let's just do some math on it. So $75 a month times 12 months, that's right around $900 more a year that you would be spending than if you went with first day coverage. And if our 64-year-old female makes it to age 74, you have overpaid right around $9,000 on a $20,000 policy. That's assuming you only live 10 years, right? Women live longer. That could potentially be overpaying $18,000 on a $20,000 policy. So we don't recommend that at all. I mean, just even the 10-year number is $9,000 roughly. I mean, we would recommend you keep that money in your own bank account rather than transferring that money to an insurance company's bank account. Yeah, I'm sure you could figure out a lot more fun things to do with it rather than just giving it away to an insurance company. So you need to be a smart and educated consumer. And if you're not, that's okay. We can help you be a smart and educated consumer and help you get approved for these lower price plans. They all have different underwriting. So one of them is going to be better than the others. But yeah, just why would you ever give that much money to an insurance company? Let's look at some other companies here though. Let's see. You'll be able to see all these different insurance companies. Let's find one. Oh, here's one. Lincoln Heritage. They're a fine company, I guess. But look at that pricing. $109 for the same $20,000 versus $75. So it is first day coverage. It is level coverage here. But yeah, why is that price so high? Well, here's the deal. So Lincoln Heritage has a deal when you pass away that, when you do pass away, they'll call supposedly like 2 or 3 different funeral homes to get the lowest pricing. And they may do a couple other things, but they don't do that for free. It costs money. and they just build that into the monthly premium, and it can end up costing you a lot of money. So $109 versus $75 roughly. So Lincoln Heritage is going to be right around $34 more expensive per month. And again, you're going to overpay that premium for the rest of your life. But let's just run that out 12 months. 12 months times 34, that's going to be right at $408 more a month, more a year that you would spend. And if our 64-year-old female makes it to age 74, you'll have overpaid right around $4,080. So you got to ask yourself, is it worth paying an insurance company, over $4,000 more to phone 2 or 3 funeral homes and maybe do a couple other things that might only take an hour or so to do? A lot of people would say that's a pretty great payday for the insurance company, like $4,000 an hour or so. We just don't recommend you don't do that. We can pretty much get you the same benefits by getting you the lowest price from one of these lower price companies. But what we then do is we give you a free funeral and estate planning guide. You can download that off our website for free. You download it and then you print it out. And once it's printed out, you fill it out. You just write down who gets what and what goes where and what you want to happen after you're gone. And then you keep that with your insurance policy. And then when you pass away, everything's in one place. And your family members will know that that you protected them both financially with the insurance policy, but also emotionally with the funeral and estate planning guide. Because all they'll need to do is open up that funeral and estate planning guide and just start reading. And they'll know everything that you wanted done. You'll have it all listed out for them. And it will be such a stress remover for your family. And they'll know that you provided the money to take care of everything that you wrote down in there anyway. So what a wonderful gift. They will know that you are not only protecting them in life, but you are actually protected them that last time in death, exactly when they would need you the most, but you weren't there. But you took care of them financially and emotionally. What a wonderful legacy to leave behind. If you want to leave a legacy like that, we can help you out. Go to funeralfunds.com. We've got a special quote for our YouTube viewers, funeralfunds.com/YouTube. And that's going to get you the most discounts, the best rates based off your age, gender, and the state. Take full advantage of it. It'll really help you understand what's going on price-wise and what you qualify for. Also, you can call us at 888-862-9456. But if you've got an existing policy and you just want us to price shop that, or you just want to find out about adding coverage, we can help you out with that. If you're looking for brand new coverage or just have questions, we can help you out with that. But, regardless, we look forward to the day when we can help you get the most amount of coverage for the least amount of money. We will be blessed to help you with that at some point in the future. Until that day comes, you stay safe, you take care, you have a nice day. Bye-bye.